All right, what's up, guys? Three Guys Gaming here, and I decided to go and make a VGC team. So let's get started looking at my team. So I have Mega Salamence here with Heat Wave for good spread coverage. Anything such as Thorn, that'll take care of that. Hyper Voice, Dragon Pulse, and Hydro Pump. So excellent type coverage on this special Mega Salamence, and also put Intimidate on him to lower any physical attackers that come in, such as Mega Kangaskhan that is so common, Mega Mawile, stuff like that. And then I have Sableye here with Leftovers and Prankster. Then Will-O-Wisp to take down the physical attackers. Knockoffs, get rid of any items. Recover for a solid recovery move. And then Fake Out, so it's a really good support Pokemon to send it out with a sweeper such as Mega Salamence. It can help him out a lot. Then I have Sylveon here with Choice Specs. Pixelate, so Hyper Voice is going to do a great amount of damage to anything that doesn't resist it, besides special walls such as Chansey or Blissey or anything like that. And then I have Psyshock, Shadow Ball, and HP Ground to take care of things such as Heatran or anything that's weak to ground type moves, so for good coverage. And then Thundurus with Life Orb and also has Prankster. So I gave it Thunder Wave, so anything that's not burned, I can just paralyze it and slow it down. Because Mega Salamence is the focal point of my team. So he's not like the fastest Pokemon in the game. He can get outsped as things such as Greninja, but if they're paralyzed, Salamence can just come in and sweep. And then he has Thunderbolt and Psychic as well to take down any fighting types with the Psychic or anything like that. And then I have Weavile here with a Focus Sash because he's a frail Pokemon. And then he has Ice Shard for priority on things such as Garchomp, Landorus. Scarf Landorus is very common, so I can send out Weavile to take care of those. Knockoffs, get rid of any items. Icicle Crash, just if I know I can outspeed a Pokemon that's weak to ice, I'll just use Icicle Crash for more damage, for a better chance of getting the kill. And then Low Kick. Low Kick is solely just for Mega Kangaskhan, because he usually can KO a non-defensive, a lot attacking Kangaskhan. A Low Kick can KO that. And then anything such as an Aggron, you'll see every once in a while, stuff like that. And then Aegislash with a weakness policy. So Aegislash can take almost any hit. So that is super effective. So I decided to go with Iron Head, King Shield, Shadow Sneak for priority, and then Shadow Ball. So good stab moves. And with weakness policy, Shadow Sneak is a really good move because it can do a lot of damage in priority and has priority. So I also decided to go with a Brave Nature here. And then just to show you guys the EVs real quick, so you can see here I did a max HP, mostly in attack and some in special defense, just so we can absorb those hits. Weavile's a fast physical sweeper set, so all out speed, all out attack. Then I put the rest in special defense because that is its highest defense. And then I did Thundurus. I did an all out attacking set, special attacking set. So actually I meant to put this in special attack. So max special attack, max speed, and the other four in HP, and a hasty nature. Because I didn't want to make it timid to lower its attack for knockoff. I want the most damage out of knockoff possible. And I actually want to take this for him, just put it in attack, just to get the most damage out of knockoff. And then for Sylveon, I decided to do a bulky spec set. So max HP, max it, or almost max HP, almost max special attack. And then I decided to put the rest in special defense because it is already high special defense. Then a modest nature just to get the most damage out of Sylveon. And then Sableye, I did a specialty defensive set because once Pokemon are Will-O-Wisp, its physical attacks aren't going to do much to it anyways. So I decided to max out its special attack in HP and the rest in attack so we get more damage out of Fake Out and Knockoff. And then the standard special Salamence set. Oh, and also Sableye was a careful nature. So getting an increase in special defense and decrease in special attack since we don't use that. And then for Salamence, the fast special sweeper set. So I put 4 in HP. Then just maxed out special attack, maxed out my speed, and timid nature, just so we can get as much speed as possible. And then, so I think we're all ready to get started for our first VGC battle. Searching. Alright, so let's look at his team first. He is the Gardevoir here, which is most likely Hyper Voice Mega Gardevoir. That's very common in VGC battles. Virizion is pretty uncommon in VGC, so it's interesting that he's using that. Garchomp's most likely a Scarfed Garchomp. Lapras is a good Pokemon, usually Assault Vested. Here you see Zapdos, which is also a great Pokemon because it can run HP Ice, Thunderbolt, Heat Wave, stuff like that. Then Aegislash is most likely similar to my Aegislash. That's about the standard set with the weakness policy. So looking at his team, I think I'm going to lead definitely Sableye just because of Fake Out and Will-O-Wisp to burn things such as Virizion if it's a physical one, or Garchomp or Aegislash. And then with Sableye, the only Pokemon that are a threat to my Salamence are Gardevoir and Lapras because I know it can outspeed Garchomp unless it's Scarfed. So I think I'm gonna lead with my Landorus just because he can paralyze Virizion, paralyze Gardevoir, and slow those two down for when I have to bring in my Salamence. So definitely gonna bring Salamence. Now for the other one, I think I'm gonna bring in Weavile. Weavile just because it can take out Zapdos. It can do great damage to a Lapras. It can also take out Garchomp, and it can take out Virizion. It all has those type advantages. So I think I'm gonna bring in Weavile. He'll be very good in this one. Alright, so let's see what he led with. He led with his Gardevoir, which I expected, and his Lapras. Okay, so I think I'm gonna fake out this Gardevoir just because I know it most likely has a Hyper Voice or a Calm Mind coming, which I don't want to take. I think I could either go for a Thunder Wave to slow down Gardevoir, or I could go with Thunderbolt just to get some damage, but that's a pretty high special attack, so Thunderbolt won't do much, even though I'm Life Orbed, probably to a max of maybe like 40-50% maybe. So I think I'm going to go with Thunder Wave just to slow it down. Then Lapras, unless it uses something such as a Parasong, which you see every once in a while, but I'm not too worried about that, so I don't expect either of these. Oh, Lapras actually protected, that's good, because I didn't attack Lapras and then paralyzed Gardevoir. Alright, so that's a good turn for us. Flinched and paralyzed Gardevoir. So now we have this Lapras sitting here. So I think I'm going to knock off the Lapras because it's most likely Assault Vest, or actually I'm going to hold off on that knockoff. But I'll just go for the knockoff. And then Lapras isn't a great threat to me besides a possible Ice Beam to my Thunders. So I think I'm going to go and attack Gardevoir because that's the biggest threat to my team, because it's a Hyper Voice would be super effective on Sableye, Mega Salamence, and Weavile. So I want to get rid of this Gardevoir as soon as possible. So I'm going to... Oh, we actually switched out. Okay. Alright, so we did decent damage to Gardevoir and knocked off his Zapdos and got rid of Citrus Berry. So that's a good move. Good turn for us. But he did take out our Sableye with a Hyper Voice. But that is okay because I know I can take out this Gardevoir next turn. And I'm going to bring in this Weavile just to get rid of this Zapdos as well. Unless I know I can outspeed his Zapdos. So I'm going to go with an Icicle Crash on Zapdos. And based on how much damage that a Thunderbolt did, I know I can take out his Gardevoir. So let's go. Alright, Gardevoir is paralyzed. That's good. Icicle Crash took out Zapdos. And let's see if this Thunderbolt kills. Alright, that was a good turn for us. Took out his Zapdos and his Gardevoir. Two big threats to our team. So now it's 2v2. He brings out Aegislash and Lapras. We get good Intimidate off. Alright, so let's see. Lapras is a Water Ice type. So we could use a Low Kick on him because he's a pretty heavy Pokemon. So Low Kick does damage based on how much the Pokemon weighs. Or we could use... Because Lapras is a threat to my Salamence, and Aegislash is a threat to my Weavile. Something like a Iron Head would bring me down to my Focus Sash. So I think I'm going to go with... I could either knock off Aegislash, or I could Low Kick Lapras. I think I'm actually going to knock off Aegislash. He may have a weakness policy, but I think I'm going to Mega Evolve and go for a Heat Wave just in case Aegislash lives, which he probably will. Heat Wave should be able to take him out. So let's see what he does. Oh, he actually protected with Ageless. That's interesting. Protecting instead of king shooting. Alright, so we at least got some damage off, and he uses Icy Wind and knocks down our speed. That was a good play, but we're still... I know both of my Pokemon are still faster than his, just because Lapras and Aegislash are not very fast Pokemon, so we should be able to outspeed them. Oh, he actually did King Shoot, okay. So now Weavile has lowered attack, which is not the best for us. So I think I still want to knock off Aegislash. Have to figure out how to get rid of this Lapras because of that Icy Wind is a threat. Weavile's not going to be much use now because his attack is cut in half now from that King Shield. So I think I'm just going to knock off Aegislash anyways. Or it'd be better to knock off Lapras. I think I'll go on Aegislash. And then I think I'll Heat Wave again just to get some damage on both Pokemon. And we actually did activate his weakness policy, okay. And then I went with the Heat Wave. Aegislash still lived, and we got some more damage on here. So Flash Scan is going to take out the Salamence, and Icy Wind is going to take out, Weavile. Alright, so he did get the win on that one, but it was still overall a good battle. Alright, so I'm going to run another one on here. Alright, so let's see his team. He's also running Salamence, Tyranitar, Amoonguss, Bisharp, Gengar, and Zapdos. So a pretty standard looking VGC team. So I think he may lead with his Tyranitar, just get that Sandstorm up. Or he may lead with an Amoonguss to get some Spore off or something like that. Or any Rage Powders. So I think I'm going to lead off with Weavile, actually, just because I think that Tyranitar is coming out. So I know I can use the Low Kick to take him out. And then I think I'll also lead with... Thundurus here, because he can Thunder Wave anything that comes out. And then, besides Bisharp and Amoonguss and Gengar, Sylveon can do super effective damage to these two here, Salamence and Tyranitar, and then neutral damage to Zapdos, which is good. And then I could also Hidden Power Ground Bisharp or anything like that, and Amoonguss. And then, so Sylveon could be good for this battle. So I think I'm going to bring in Sylveon. And then Salamence may not be the best choice for this battle, just because there's not many things that he can KO, that Salamence can KO easily. So, well, Hyper Voice could do neutral damage to, it could easily KO Amoonguss, do neutral damage to Gengar and Salamence. So I think I'm actually going to bring in my Salamence. Alright, so he sends out his Bisharp and Tyranitar, which is good for us because we have this Weavile that can KO either Bisharp or Tyranitar. So I think I'm going to low kick Tyranitar just because I think a Rock Slide is on the way. So now I think I'll Thunderbolt Bisharp. Bisharp use Protect, okay. And I low kick Tyranitar, which did KO him. And that's what low kick is for, getting rid of stuff like that. So got rid of Tyranitar first turn, which is good for us. Alright, so now Bisharp is under the Protect. So now let's see what he brings in. He most likely either will bring in Zapdos or Amoonguss, I think. Oh, he actually brought in Salamence, okay. Got off the Intimidate damage. That was a good move. Alright, so an Icicle Crash with Intimidate damage might be able to kill. It'll be close. But this isn't a Life Orb to Weavile. It's Focus Sash. But I'm still going to... because I think he's going to switch out with Bisharp. But I have to see. So I think I'm going to Icicle Crash that Salamence. And then gonna go for another Thunderbolt on Bisharp, just because he's a threat to this team. I did go for the Sucker Punch, and I went for Icicle Crash. It did kill Salamence, so that was a good turn for us. Then Thunderbolt killed Bisharp too, so that was a perfect turn for us. Now it's 4-1, so let's see what he decided. Oh, he actually forfeited. All right, so that's a win for us. First win of the day. All right, so I think I'm going to do one more battle. All right, let's see. He's starting out with Scrafty, Aggron, Talonflame. And then he also has his Mienshao and Thundurus. And a Dusclops too. So, let's see what he'll lead with. I know it's most likely an Intimidate Scrafty. That's what's common in VGC, not Moxie ones. So, he might lead with that Scrafty, so I don't want to lead with a physical attacker. So, I think I'll actually lead with my Salamence and Sableye lead. I think that'll be solid because Salamence with a Hyper Voice can KO Scrafty, Mienshao, and a Hydro Pump would do decent damage to a Aggron and Talonflame. So I think I'll lead off with Salamence and then Sableye. And then for our other two mons, I think, let's see, not much will be able to kill Aegislash besides a knockoff from Mienshao or knockoff from Scrafty. So I think I'm gonna send in Thundurus in this one just because it can KO Talonflame with a Thunderbolt, Mienshao with a Psychic, and then for the last Pokemon, I think I'm gonna go with, let's just go with Sylveon for good spread move and that Hyper Voice. RC did leave the Scrafty like I thought in the Aggron. So this is good for us because we can get Intimidate damage on Aggron and Scrafty, which are both physical attackers. They get it back on us. So that only affects Sableye, but Sableye's not much of an attacking Pokemon anyways. So I'm actually going to Mega Evolve and go for the Hyper Voice. And then I think Aggron might have sort of maybe a Rock Slide just to get rid of the Salamence. So I'm actually going to Will-O-Wisp, or I could Fake Out, but I do want to get that burn as soon as possible. So I'm actually going to Will-O-Wisp this Aggron. Oh, he actually switched out. Okay. I brought out. So he predicted my Fake Out. Oh, he actually faked out with his own Scrafty. Okay. So we get the burn off on Dusclops, which is good. Just some damage because that's an extremely bulky Pokemon. Extremely annoying. So I think I'm going to knock off Dusclops just to get rid of his Eviolite, which I know he has. Because you rarely ever see a Dusclops without an Eviolite. So Hyper Voice. Scrafty lived the Hyper Voice and used knockoff on Sableye, which didn't do much, but it got rid of our leftovers. And we take away his Eviolite, which is good. Then he burns Salamence. That doesn't matter to us because we're special attacking Salamence. So I'm actually going to go for another Hyper Voice because it'll KO Scrafty. I'm not sure if it'll KO Dusclops or not, but I'll go with a Recover on a Sableye. So Scrafty used Protect, okay. And then we used Recover, got our HP back, and then Hyper Voice did KO Dusclops, so that's good for us. Scrafty got some HP back, but that's okay. Alright, so alright, so he brings in his Landorus, his Thundurus, which is interesting. Thundurus Therian form. So he can hit us with a Thunderbolt, which may be able to KO Salamence from this HP. But I do want to get rid of that Scrafty just because he can switch in and keep getting Intimidate damage on us. So, or also, he could switch in and get knockoffs or fake outs or anything like that. So, let's see. I think I'm going to go with another Hyper Voice, even though it does neutral damage to, Thunderous resistant. But I'm just going to knock off that Thunderous because he's most likely Life Orb or something like that. All right, so he switches out. That was a good play for him. I got a crit on Aggron, so didn't do much though. And uses HP Ice. Okay, so there goes Salamence. So got rid of his Lumberry. Okay. So now I'm gonna bring in my Thunderous because I don't want to catch an Iron Head from Sylveon. On Sylveon. So now that I have this Thunderous out, can we outspeed? Yes, we can. Alright, so our Thunderous is going to outspeed his Thunderous. So I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt, which I'm 99% sure will KO his Thunderous. And then I'm going to burn this Aggron just because it's a physical threat. Alright, he Mega Evolves. We burn him, which is good. Oh, he actually carries Volt Absorb. Okay. Alright, so we double attacked Thunderous and got rid of that. Alright, so now we have to send in Sylveon, which can live at least one Iron Head, I know, because of Aggron's burn. So to get rid of this Aggron, we could go for the HP Ground, but we are choice Specs. And I don't know if I want to be locked in HP Ground because I know he has that Mienshao back there, which then we need Hyper Voice for it. So now we have to make a decision on how to get rid of this Aggron. Let's see. Hyper Voice would do a decent amount of damage, but we wouldn't be able to KO. But I do want to be locked into Hyper Voice just because Scrafty's still back there. So I do want to be locked into Hyper Voice for the rest of the game. Alright, so now what to do with this Sableye, because he can't use Fake Out. Knock Off won't do anything to Aggron, and we already knocked off a Thunderous. So I might as well just burn Thunderous as well. Alright, so we hit that and use Discharge. Okay. So Hyper Voice actually killed Aggron and Thunderous. Alright, so that was a great turn for us, because now he has 2 fighting types left. So now he has left Scrafty and Mienshao, I believe. I think he brought in Mienshao. Oh, he actually forfeited. Alright. So that's another one for us. Alright, so that concludes my battle session for today. We went 2-1. So overall, pretty good. And thanks, guys, for watching.